good, people? It's your boy Icarus Gray.
And it's your homeboy Wordplay TJ.
And this is the No Rhyme or Reason podcast, where we talk about everything.
Everything for no reason at all. And we're live.
Yeah. What's good, people? It's your boy Icarus Gray.
And it's your homeboy Wordplay TJ.
And this is the No Rhyme or Reason podcast, where we talk about everything.
Everything for no reason at all.
We back
With some controversy. Yeah, so I seen that Mr. Bald himself, Anthony Fantano, and the Joe Budden podcast did a white rapper Mount Rushmore. Mm-hmm. And so I was like, should we review the new music from Wiz Khalifa? Should we look at Doechie's new music video? Should we look at the Wiz Khalifa new music video? Nah, let's jump into
white rapper Mount Rushmore.
Let's jump into the mess and talk about our 4 top rappers of all time.
But with a twist.
With a twist.
With a twist.
Yeah, so we're going to kind of go through this, not necessarily bracket style, right? We got a bracket in front of us, but ultimately that bracket doesn't matter, right? Because we haven't ranked them in any sort of order. They're all random. And we're just going to have the discussion, like, where does this rapper fit? It's not going to sound fair. It's not going to sound great. So I'm warning you from the top of the show. And if you're watching the video, you're not going to have any of this context because I'm not going to ramble on for very long. But we want to know which ones are the rappers that belong on the Mount Rushmore, yes, of white rappers. Have you seen Mount Rushmore? In person?
Yes, I have. Yes, I have, actually. Because it's in what, Atlanta?
No.
Where is it?
In like North or South Dakota, one of those.
No, I didn't. I haven't. I've seen the Stone Mountain, whatever that is down there.
Oh, Stone Mountain in Georgia.
Yeah, I've seen that, but no, I haven't seen Mount Rushmore because I don't care.
Word. So anyway, I don't even know why I asked that question. Ultimately, I think it's just important for us to go ahead and jump into it. And so the first debate that we have is Action Bronson versus Eminem.
Mm-hmm.
And I should say, like, for me at least, sales don't really matter.
Oh, no, sales don't matter. I'm always thinking about, like, the actual lyricism of the person. Are you a good rapper? That's where I lean more towards.
Yeah.
So this one's kind of hard. Not really, but it's only hard in the context of I do kind of like Action Bronson's swag.
Uh-huh.
And general vernacular because he sounds like Ghostface Killer. So I kind of lean on that a little bit.
I wonder if that should take him down in some points, though, right? And meaning just like...
Okay, I see what you're going.
Does he not have the originality to be unique, right? Like, he has all these Ghostface comparisons, but does that make him unoriginal? I feel like no, right? I feel like he broke through that part of his... everybody gets compared to somebody when they come in. And
that's a fact.
And so, and listeners will always compare you to some random person that they have knowledge of, because that's just what listeners. That's just how listeners perceive things that they're not understanding.
Yeah, but let's keep it a bean. It's just him. Sorry, Action.
Well, I don't know though.
Okay, make your argument. Let's hear.
I don't have an argument. I'm just saying, I think we should stay open about this.
I'm open. Listen, the lyricism levels are so different, vastly different, that in terms of, like, if I'm trying to pick between the two, I'm going to pick him.
Yeah.
There are other conversations that I would have that are way more, to me, controversial in a sense for other people.
Yeah.
And I'm not gonna do the normal telling what part of the country we're from, which is gonna definitely skew certain arguments later on.
Yeah. So Action Bronson would come out with a line that's just like, I got concubines for my Valentine's. You know what I mean? He would, he would just say something that's just like, he is a very visual performer. And Eminem is a performer that is all about not necessarily the visual, but to get a reaction out of you, right?
The visuals of the shock factor that he goes for do work tandemly, though. And his storytelling, I think, is something that is pretty underrated because I think of the shock value of it. We'll kind of sit on a line about something he said about his mom or whatever. When it's like, clearing out my closet is like him going through why I have this beef with you. And so I really like lean towards like his storytelling is way more vivid to me.
Okay.
Like, because Action Bronson is in that Griselda class of artists where it's just like, it's fun because it sounds like some Italian mafia drug rap.
mixed with a little bit of like, what is one of those food blogs?
Oh man, you're talking about Bon Appetit?
Yeah, like Bon Appetit. You know what I mean? He's just like New York rap mixed with food blog.
He's the if the Bear was a rapper as a show, it would be Action Bronson. I still got him though. I'm not doing this. Let's move on. We got more to get through.
Fine. Then Eminem will advance.
Yeah. Because we're gonna end with a final four.
Yeah, we'll get to it. We'll get to that in a second. I don't know why my screen just did this, but whatever. So Eminem is gonna advance. I don't know how to work this thing. So, Mr. the winner is Eminem.
Okay. So
next one we have is A$AP Rock and Yellow Wolf. Another Eminem like label mate.
Yeah.
Versus, Notorious Underground MC A$AP Rock.
This one's hard in a sense because are we ranking off of where they were? Like, are we going like prime them, or are we going consistency? Because if we're going consistency, we have to go A$AP. If we're not, and we're just talking about the potential, I think Yellow Wolf had a better potential.
So the way I think about it is from the start of their career to now, right? Do they still fit into the white rapper sort of category, if we will, right? So that, do they maintain that consistency? Do they still rap and show up in the same way that they showed up at the beginning, right? Because sometimes people shift and go into other genres, and we have some of that on this bracket, right? Like where people kind of genre bend, but they're still technically MCs.
Yeah. Okay, but are they good at their genre bending?
That's the question.
I think Yellow Wolf was okay at genre bending, but his lyrical prowess is, to me, would kind of put him in position to be someone that I expected to be really great. But I think label mishandling, along with just, it seems like because of those label mishandling, he got disenfranchised with, hip hop as a whole.
Did he come out and say that he was mishandled by the label?
He's come out and said things about, his like passion for rap. And I think everybody during the Shady 2.0 experience, outside of Crooked Eye, well, outside of everybody from the Shady 2.0 experience, seems to like it didn't go the way it was supposed to go.
Yeah, I don't know if that's mishandling though, right? And I think we have a slightly different perspective on the business, right? The business is, so if you go into a company and they say we only deal with hits here, but you try to come in and insert something that is more underground, you're not really fitting into what that company sells, so to speak, right?
Right.
You're doing R&D for a new product. And
Yeah.
and quite frankly, right, if you haven't got a number one record or a top 10 record or a top 50 record, right?
Yeah.
And he probably has some top 50, but I don't know about like that many number ones from Yellow Wolf. And ASAP Rock doesn't have any number ones that I know of, right?
But he chose the consistency, and that's the bigger point I'm making with him. Is there were a lot of things that I think Yellow Wolf could have done with his career, i.e., could have dropped the Country Cousins album with Crit, because I think their relationship would have brought a lot of great music out of him. Right.
And so I think, to your point, despite the record label, he could have kept going. And, barring his contract, right? Because we don't know what the language says. But
and that's the part that's the part that I'm saying, like, that I feel
okay. Label politics equals not being able to release music. Okay. Yes.
Because he didn't release an album in that Shady 2.0.
I don't know.
That I can recall.
Let's
either
confirm
way,
that before we say it.
I'm still going ASAP Rock though.
Okay. I'm down with that. Putting ASAP Rock for ASAP's consistency overall and just kind of sticking with it. Even to this day, ASAP has put something out recently, I believe.
He did, so I was wrong about that. So he did release some Shady Records.
Trunk music.
Yeah.
1,
2, or at least 3, Love Story and Radioactive. But anyway, what we got next?
I think next, let's just stay on this conversation of folks that kind of genre bend. Let's go ASAP and MGK. ASAP, sorry. I keep saying ASAP. ASAP.
I think I did it too. ASAP's Fables. This is another one where MGK's potential versus where he is now and what he turned into is way different. Lace Up MGK is a different dude. Like, he was rapping, and I mean, it was packed with actual lyrics. And now we're at punk rock, I'm just changing my life, Kid Rock-esque MGK, and it's weird, and I don't like it.
Yeah. I think with MGK, people will go to the shows, right? Or at least the show that I've seen. And he wouldn't necessarily... It's sort of like the Drake and Kendrick argument where, like, he's not really touching the culture, so to speak. He's just good at rapping. And he's impressive. He's impressive to white fans.
I don't know. Lace Up MGK seemed more into the culture to me, because these are the times where he's trying to make
not the culture not him into the culture into him.
Oh, yeah. But I feel like the culture was into him during the Lace Up era. But then once, I think the pivotal point of all this, right? What happens when the rappers that we love, the white rappers we love, underground, start to make it mainstream? What do they feel like when they kind of make that crossover? And I think when he was trying to make the crossover to be, relevant, he was also on Bad Boy at that point in time.
Yeah, look up some MGK songs. I think that will help me out, right? So
Okay.
what I'm trying to get at is like, would MGK be played at the cookout?
Oh no,
That's the point I'm
no.
trying to make.
Good point. Good point.
ASAP, he's not being played at the cookout either, right? And I want to be clear about that. Look up his catalog, not. And not, and I'm not trying to compare that. I'm not trying to say that because he's not, the culture is not into him, that he wouldn't deserve to advance.
Mm-hmm.
I'm saying that, like, if we're gonna compare these two folks, we want to make sure that we're comparing them on even ground.
I don't know that it's even ground because I really do think that like the Bad Boy era stuff, and Diddy's general mishandling or their label's mishandling of artists when they're hot, especially like rap artists. I think that has more to do with it, but I agree with you. They didn't do enough to kind of steer him to what he was good at. They kind of tried to morph it into Bad Boys, like kind of cookie cutter esque the way they handle rappers, right?
It felt like a Bad Boy, 2000s, right?
Yes,
Right.
and I don't think that served him. Like the Lace Up series sounded more like the beginning of like Mac Miller, the beginning of Logic. Like everybody, when they sound hungry,
Click on singles.
we're able to kind of connect at that point. Now,
Wild Boy was a good one,
it was, but that would be your genre bending thing, and I
but
think
I don't think that fits at the cookout necessarily.
it fit at the parties at least.
The
that
party,
was
but not the
only one.
cookout, right? Like I don't think anybody's like up there requesting. Your black homeboys not gonna go up to the DJ and be like, "Yo, play that MGK Wild Boy right now."
Yeah, but I mean, well, we not factoring in sales, but he did end up having like I think a lot of general success with it. Just for me, in terms of like a Mount Rushmore, in terms of like an impact, I don't, like you said, I don't think the impact is big enough comparatively to ASAP Rock, which in the underground community, which is way bigger than what I think we give it credit for, is ringing bells.
Yeah, because I think they're both capable of still selling out some shows and doing some shows. I don't know if they're doing, I don't know if it's arenas, right? But
Yeah.
but if you give them, a 500 cap, they could probably fill the room across the nation, right? Both of them.
Yeah.
So
Who you got? Matter of fact, I'm gonna let you make the pick on this one.
I think my ultimate decision is ASAP.
Okay.
Yeah, ASAP Rock for this part of the competition. I think is my POV. And
We got to go through these next ones somewhat quick, but we picked the hardest ones.
yeah, I think it is important for us to go ahead and make it quick. Brother Ali and Paul Wall.
Mm-hmm.
For sake of ease, I'm gonna say Paul Wall,
For sake of ease, I gotta say Paul Wall.
and I'm gonna tell you why though.
Okay, let's do it. I love Brother Ali, man.
I love the story that Paul Wall told about how he changed a fan's mind on perceiving him.
Yep.
Yeah, he was on tour, and he came up to a show. He was hanging at a bar, and this brother said, I can't wait to see Paul Wall when it's a show. And he's like, well, he's talking to Paul Wall. Paul Wall says, the show's X time. I hope to see you there. By the way, my name's Paul. And then the brother says, like, what? So he's basically like, yo, I didn't like white folks because of, the obvious reasons. And so Paul Wall was like, well, that's who I am. And it just kind of screwed up this guy's mind, right?
Yeah.
And that's the thing. And so ultimately, I think Paul Wall's impact on culture and culture's response to Paul Wall is something so significant that even though Brother Ali has a similar impact on culture and a similar impact on politics and doing the groundwork, I think one person's in the streets, one person is in the governor's mansion, so to speak.
Yeah,
you know
I
what
think
I mean?
Brother Ali would be the KRS-One of white rappers.
I see what you're saying with that.
Because that's the level of lyrics that we get. I do want to like make sure I mention that. That Brother Ali is supremely dope. It's just Paul Wall, baby, is a culture shifter and has been so pivotal. Like I remember when I found out that he was white. It took because he was just licensed. Because he's the first person that sounded the way he sounded, and it didn't sound forced or fake, and it was the same on every level.
He's your homie. He's your white homie that has an accent, and he just has an accent.
Yep.
He's not putting it on, and he doesn't. That accent doesn't change when he gets home or around his white friends. Like you know what I mean? Like he's just who he is, and that's really great, right? It's good to know that there's some authentic folks that aren't just kind of playing with the culture. And so Paul Wall knows the culture. He's a part of the culture. And so I think just Paul Wall will advance for those reasons. And Brother Ali doesn't deserve any discredit for not advancing.
And he's made it to the wall. Or the Mount Rushmore, if you will.
Wow. This is this is crazy. A$AP Rock, I did not expect this, by the way. I did not expect this, by the way. But let's keep going.
First half of our Mount Rushmore.
The first half of our Mount Rushmore is A$AP Rock and Paul Wall.
Paul Wall, baby.
Which is pretty wild. Now we got Mac Miller and Bubba Sparks.
This is what's funny about the white rappers, right? Either you have longevity or you don't. And when you don't, it makes it a hard conversation, even if your short run is like some unknown school in the in March Madness winning everything.
By the way, Bubba just put out a record with Big Crit.
Yeah, which fire. Bubba Sparks still got it. But Bubba Sparks like is the one Timbaland artist that I wanted more from.
Yeah, him and Timbaland like continuing to do their run after his first. I think his first album was Delivered, right, or Deliverance, or something like that.
I think it was.
Or was that the single? Please fact check that for me. I don't have my. Where is my phone?
It was indeed Deliverance.
All right, thank you. I was like, my brain, my almanac album brain should not fail me at this moment.
Yeah, that album was crazy,
it was phenomenal.
Bro.
It was a phenomenal album, and his follow up, The Charm, wasn't bad either. I think Bubba Sparks is again one of those artists that isn't pretending to be in the culture. He's of the culture, right?
Anything but like it's the country white boys that actually are literally just country.
Yeah.
And he, for all intents and purposes, was super dope lyrically. His content was similar to Eminem. It's just he wasn't shock value with it. It was smooth Southern player with it.
I'm gonna make an adjustment, by the way.
Okay.
Because somebody's missing.
Oh no!
So I'm not gonna reveal what I just changed.
Christ, y'all don't know how my brain
for the audio.
Oh my God.
But I believe that this person deserves to be a part of this conversation more than the other person I just took out.
Agreed. Okay. But
all subjective.
But with this conversation that we're currently having, Bubba Sparks was really, really great lyrically. I do think he is better lyrically than Mac Miller.
Yeah. And Mac Miller has another one of those pieces that kind of takes him back a few points. Is that he focused more on genre bending than staying a rapper, right? He has the same come up as or kind of a parallel come up as Wiz Khalifa on the same label, Rostrum Records, and one of those things. The thing that I think is really important about Mac and Sparks to note is due to his passing, Mac had a short run.
Yeah.
Sparks had a short run for different reasons, but still,
At least in terms of mainstream stuff,
right?
just for us
The
to clarify.
concentrated timeline,
Yeah.
of these two artists is something that is similar to them that we could compare in a bit.
Yeah.
One's out of their control, the other one's a little bit more controllable. So who would you pick in this situation?
I would have to pick Mac simply because the total artistry of who he is and what he meant to, whether it's Kendrick, whether it's Schoolboy Q, he just had that kind of control and power.
So it's sort of like the emotional appeal to the audience.
It's the emotional appeal, man. And he's just a better complete artist. Like, you wasn't going to stop him. You know, like if Bubba Sparks felt like whatever, I mean, he might be able to do some producing or something like that, but you knew Mac Miller's artistry was going to keep him in the game.
Yeah.
So I would pick Mac over Bubba in that way.
Okay. Then Mac is going to be the winner in this. I agree with that 100%. I don't have anything to add in that argument. So we got our top three so far. Last but not least, conversation
On who gets to get on this white rapper Mount Rushmore
is Eminem and LP.
I did not want it to end this way.
I don't want it to end this way either. Because LP right now is on a tear. And if you think about like how LP has done this sort of wave of, and he's still independent, by the way. This wave of I'm underground known to being known based off of Run the Jewels, and then doing his own albums, and then coming back in again. Like he's on tour with Wu-Tang right now. I think 2 Chainz is on that tour as well, if I'm not mistaken.
Dog, my man's is 50. That's crazy.
Yeah, and Eminem is
Also,
just as, I would say, just as successful, right? We're not counting sales, by the way. So I just want to say it. Like, I think more people would know Eminem's name in general, but that doesn't discount LP's impact.
No, I respect the general level of the legendary status that Eminem has. Let me put that out there. But in terms of what I feel is like true to the culture, LP is that dude, man. Like,
yeah, so we have 2 that dudes, right? Like these gentlemen are both those dudes, right?
because LP would be on my personal white rapper Mount Rushmore. But this argument is hard, bro, because Eminem has done some great production. He has done some great songs where he was in the driver's seat.
Yeah.
But I ain't never felt like LP did a bad beat or record.
I got a wrench.
What's the wrench?
I got a wrench to throw in this.
Throw it. Let's see.
LP versus Aesop.
LP.
Okay.
If we because we make the rules.
Right. I mean, and we're not paying attention to this bracket.
Not
per
really.
se,
We're just
right.
talking
We're just
about our
using that
emotions.
as a way to organize the conversation. We're not really paying attention to like this pseudo competition that we've created.
Yeah.
I think what we're doing is using that to say, hey, these two, how do they compare? How do we advance this conversation in an organized manner?
I definitely
think-
switch that.
I would move ASAP I would move LP to ASAP's position.
I agree. Because the conversation with him, like M was going to beat whoever, though I promise you I was going to pick LP this time if we were just going off of our, if we were sticking in our bracket mindset, which is sometimes hard to like disconnect from. But the LP, bro.
I can't change it on here. So
Cancer
I
for
don't know.
Cure
I'm not gonna do
is something immaculate. And for the credit that we give J. Cole for rapping and producing, like LP's production is on a level that I just think makes no sense to be that good. It's one of my favorite Rhythm Roulette episodes with him making beats. And then him as a rapper is bar for bar.
I know how to do this.
Every lyric is there. He is not going to miss. And then to run the jewels aspect. Matter of fact, the better show of how dope his production is, right? Killer Mike's first Grammy nomination came off rap music, which was entirely produced by who?
LP.
LP. If that don't say what it need to say, I don't know what will in terms of like actual rap listeners.
That wasn't his first Grammy, by the way. Whole World.
Oh yeah,
that single.
But him personally as a solo artist,
his solo artist.
because Outkast, we ain't finna do. I'm not down to Mike because y'all know I love Killer Mike. But yeah, LP gets a lot of legendary status for that. So I think he definitely deserves to be up there. And then of course, the last one, which everybody know will be here, is Eminem. And I think it's M, bro. Like
I was messing around earlier. I was like, I don't know how this is gonna play out.
To say a couple things about M felt like this is rap's purest say what you want to say form. And like stand 10 toes on it, you know, make a mess of this, make a mess of that, but do it lyrically. Because even with all of like the drug induced stuff that like Eminem would kind of do and how he seems so crazy to me, I feel like for all intents and purposes, it was never anything that we're like, oh, you ain't who we think we are.
Yeah, and
Like-
people seem to be not too much of a fan of sober Eminem, and I don't think that should discredit him.
No, like sober Eminem to me has like done things better. I think his handling of like Easy Meal has been way better than his other artist showings. I think
We're still waiting on the Easy Mill album, aren't we?
we are waiting on the Easy Meal album.
It's yet to be fulfilled.
But just because I love
His launch of Easy Meal, yes.
yeah. So
But we'll see how Easy Meal handles that, right? Because I think part of that is we have to, when it comes to label politics, we have to say that both parties have something to do with it. Because it is a negotiation.
I think it's 75-25 though. I would say it was 50-50.
Yes, there's power in those
it's
contracts, but
75-25.
you still have to sign it. I think that's
Yeah.
that's my piece.
You still have to sign it, but the 25% of like giving your complete artistry and control to like when they decide to do something can be very damaging to you,
Right.
and your intensity to keep going. And not everybody has Lupe Fiasco type fans. Like you gonna give us a release date for Lasers, or it's gonna be a problem for you.
Yeah, but they're not pushing that button because they hate you. They're not pushing that button because you haven't pushed that button for yourself, so to speak.
Yeah.
They wait. They're opportunists, right? So the label business, not to give them any more credit than they deserve. The label business is an opportunist business, and in 2025, people should understand that.
With this Eminem conversation, like as we kind of like wrap up or whatever,
Right.
My big question to you with Eminem specifically is, while he would be on the Mount Rushmore of white rappers,
Yeah.
does he make your like top 10 rappers your personal?
Eminem, does he make my top 10 personal? I think if we're down to top 10, yes. Because Eminem helped me practice my bars at the same time that like Jay-Z helped me practice my bars in the late 90s, early 2000s.
If we're going top 10, he probably does not make my top 10. Which is not like a disrespect, but there are...
Why?
Because the artists that had more of an effect on me are way more varying. Like Eminem, I'm not connected to the story. That's not the kind of rap I'm finna do.
Right. You don't do Hate My Mom rap.
Yeah. The only connection I think I would have made is his intensity for like how he approached rap beefs.
Yeah.
And that was like the only time that I think I've ever like had that kind of connection. But musically, the rappers that are in my top 10 are either really, really dope lyricists that had an influence on me in some way, shape, form, or fashion, and I like listen to their music semi-religiously.
Yeah. I think for me it's more of the technical piece, because I'm a very technical rapper when it comes to like the structure and the way that stories are put together and so forth and so on, right? Like a technician in that way. So here's our Mount Rushmore of white rappers. It is LP, Paul Wall, Mac Miller, and Eminem.
Yes, sir.
Wow.
I think that's a pretty good Mount Rushmore.
Yeah.
Like, in terms of like lyrical ability and what it is that we're looking for. But I want to know what y'all think, because I know each and every one of y'all probably has a white rapper that's kind of on your list. Maybe they're edging in. Maybe you're a Jack Harlow fan. Maybe you like Asher Roth, who didn't make our list. Maybe you're a third base guy. Who knows? Maybe you are one of those people who consider people who aren't white at all on your list. Maybe
let's not even go there.
Anyway, yeah. But let us know down in the comments what you think. Who's on your Mount Rushmore?
Please do.
Because I want to hear. And we will see you guys on the next piece, a 1 and a 2, and peace.